Hey you guys, it's Kaylee. I am back with another thrift haul. However, today's thrift haul is going to be slightly different. I have just a handful of items here. Just a small little Goodwill bag. Just gonna dump this really quick. I went thrifting today and I only had time to go to one thrift store because I had a meeting and some other stuff to attend to. So I got a very small batch of stuff. And while I was out, I usually pull up my YouTube comments and answer them like while I'm at lunch. And lately, you guys have been giving me a ton of comments about, even though we've already done videos on it, I wanted to do kind of an updated version. But you guys have been asking, how is it that we check comps so fast at thrift stores, and how do we make a buying decision and a pricing decision so quickly? So I've been asked, how long does it actually take? Because you're at a thrift store and you're like, I don't have time to look up every item. Some people just pick up the item and then when they go to list it, then they look up the item. My thoughts are you've got to do that anyways, right? So no matter what, whether you do it at the thrift store or you do it when you get back, you're going to have to look it up. So in my opinion, you should probably know that information before you decide to pick up the item, because you might actually be saving yourself from picking up some undesirable items that will not sell. So I just kind of wanted to walk you guys through my thought process. I've got eBay pulled up here. I know we're not at a thrift store, but I just wanted to walk you through like my buying decision on these couple of items. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 items, and I'll kind of walk you through what was going through my mind at the thrift store when I found them. So let me just start with probably my most exciting find this day, which is this guy. This is a vintage, well, kind of vintage. Vintage is technically 20 years or older, which technically this is, but it is vintage dated 2001, which I don't know about you guys, but I hear anything in the 2000s being vintage. I'm like, this does not sound vintage yet, but it is. It's 20 years or older. So anything 2001 is definitely vintage, and I'm going to use the word vintage and Y2K, and I will also probably put 2001 in the title. Vintage items can be trickier to look up, but this one was actually pretty easy. So I already know that like anime and like vintage cartoons, not that this is a vintage cartoon, but vintage shirts for cartoons and anime can do really good. And just anime in general can be good. Just to look at this, kind of a faded t-shirt, but I have previously researched anime t-shirts, so I knew that was going to be good. So then I looked at the tag and I can tell it's a little bit of an older tag. Whenever it's a tag like this, sometimes you can flip it backwards and you can see the dating here. Let me see if I can get you guys to see this. Right there, that 2001. So this is dated 2001. And then sometimes on vintage stuff, it'll also have it down here, which this is kind of fadey, so I don't know if you can see it, but it does say 2001 dating down here. So just giving you guys some background on this, but all of that happened in about 5 seconds when I came across this item. They priced it up for $6.99, so I know what my buy cost is. Usually if something is priced up, that's going to be the second thing I look at. First thing is going to be the item and condition, because if the item's in poor condition, probably not a point in looking it up. Second would be what's the price, because if this was priced at $20, like I don't know, depending on what it is, I'd be like, yeah, it's not worth that much. So if I can, I try to do things in an order that I know are going to make sense. So $6.99, I'm like, okay, I might be able to do that. So what I ended up searching is Dragon Ball Z 2001 shirts, which is actually a popular search, believe it or not, with the exact date. So I'm gonna look that up. And I can see that there are 90 results. What I would do immediately from here is I'm going to go to pre-owned condition. With vintage stuff sometimes, especially if you're looking up like a movie or something like that, in the search results, you might also get modern stuff. And I find that by hitting pre-owned, sometimes you can eliminate that. So I'm going to pre-owned. It says I have 84 results, and I'm going to go to show more. And I'm not necessarily, because it's a vintage item, looking for 100% sell-through rate, but I'm looking for a decent sell-through rate because I want to know if the subject matter is good enough. So we're going to have 84 results. We're going to click sold. There are 72 sold results in the pre-owned category, which is a really good sign. So not 100%, but pretty close. And you know that that's a pretty decent sell-through rate, especially for a specifically dated vintage item. So from here, I usually only take like 10 seconds at this point, and I just scroll the most recent solds. Now, in the case of a vintage item, it might take a little bit more research. For instance, here I'm only seeing like super colorful ones, and I'm not seeing, you know, that exact one or similar ones. It took me a little bit of scrolling to get to here, but if I'm at a thrift store, I mean, I'm going pretty quick. So I see one that is very similar that went for $1.99. I want to avoid any of these because they're not the same. So I'm strictly scrolling. Here's another black t-shirt one that went for $9.99, looking for more of the t-shirt material and not the button-ups. Here's some more. So I can kind of get an idea of what's going on. If I wanted to take the extra step, which I did at the thrift store, I took Google Lens out and I Google Lens that because I wasn't seeing the exact one, and I found one that had sold on a vintage website, the exact one for like $110, something like that. So from there, I kind of have a range of what I'm going to sell something for. I can see that I'm probably the only one with that item because I Google Lensed it, and otherwise it would be showing up in search results probably during a Google Lens search. So because of that, I'm deciding that I'm going to price high and accept best offer. So I ended up pricing this at $150 or best offer. And that is what I did for that vintage t-shirt, which is a lot more involved than most of the pieces, but it was a vintage item that required a little bit more research. Next, I'm going to do one that does not require as much research. It's pretty simple. It is a J. Crew men's pair of shorts. Navy blue. From what I can tell, the style name just says stretch, and waist 36, and it's new with tags. So what I'm going to search for those is J. Crew stretch shorts 36, just like that. I'm going to hit search. I am going to filter to new with tags. That gives us 34 search results in the available. I'm going to scroll down and I hit sold, and that puts me at 14. I feel like when I looked this up at the thrift store, it was much different. I must have searched like chino or something. All right, anyways. I searched this and I see that there are some selling, which, you know, little bit lower sell-through rate than we want. I swear when I looked this up at the store though, it was a lot higher. I must have put chino or something in it. But I'm looking, I know that sell-through rate's a little bit lower than what I want it to be. And I see that some are selling for close to 30, some of them like 35, some of them around 25. I decide I'm going to price on the lower end of that because of sell-through rate, and I'm going to go 25 for those. I paid $4.99, and that would be my minimum 5 into 25. New with tags, good navy blue color, gonna get it. That's so funny. Every time I make a video, guys, every time I go back and try to do something new. You guys see that upload video? I messed up in that too. We're going to press forward. Okay. Next, I was flipping through the jeans rack and I immediately saw this bright embroidery and I thought maybe those are Ed Hardy jeans. And I know quite a bit about Ed Hardy. And so I'm always looking for Ed Hardy, and if not, something similar. So I saw these and I was like, okay, they're heavily embroidered. So I'm looking on the inside for a tag. They feel pretty thick. This is on the back. I don't know anything about that. There's a small tag on the inside, which I don't know how to explain it, but sometimes higher end jeans brands have like very small, almost hidden tags. These reminded me of those. It's called RMC. I'm not going to tell you what that stands for yet, but I didn't know what it stood for. So because I don't know that, and I think the brand is RMC, I am going to look up RMC men's jeans and see if anything pulls up. And immediately when I start typing RMC, it's coming up. So RMC jeans, I'm gonna type men's just because I don't know this brand yet, so I don't know if they make women's, but I can tell those are men's. I haven't even checked the available number yet, but I can already tell that they are priced pretty high, which is a good sign. And I also see that RMC stands for Red Monkey Co. Denim. I'm obviously doing this a lot faster at the thrift store, right? So I'm going to pre-own 83 search results. I am going to scroll to sold. 103 sold results. That is an over 100% sell-through rate. And so from here, I'm literally just doing a quick scroll to see if I can find similar ones and kind of what the range is. Now this is kind of like the vintage one where they are a little bit more rare, and I can already tell that depending on the embroidery, they're going to go for more or less. I have a very similar one to this because it is a Japanese looking embroidery. And so I know that I can probably get close to what this one is, which was around $100. This was sold in another country, but I'm basically just getting an idea of what all of these are going for. Whew. There is a very, very naughty embroidery in this that went for $200. It's if you could only see the search results, the embroidery on these jeans is a little wild. Okay, so I'm getting an idea of just how much I could probably get for these. Here's another one that went for $188, and it had big embroidery. Because I don't see mine on the available or the sold, I'm thinking I got a pretty rare one, kind of like the Dragon Ball Z t-shirt. So I'm gonna price high and I'm gonna accept best offer. Because some of these went for $200, I decided to price mine for $175 or best offer. I also noticed later on with mine that mine said salvage right here, which is very desirable. So later on I put salvage in the search and saw that those were going for much more. A lot more of an involved search, but again, wanted to give you guys some variety. Okay, next up, this is a really easy one, like the J. Crew shorts. This is a pair of Tommy Bahama men's Tencel Lyocell pants, size 38 by 30. So I am going to type Tommy Bahama Tencel linen pants. And I don't think I need to filter by size at this point. I just want to know if it is valuable. There are 21 results. I didn't even filter new or pre-owned. I just want to get an idea if this category is even good. I hit sold. There are 17 search results, pretty close to 100%. And so good enough for me to get. And we'll just factor that in as we're looking. If I wanted to, I could even include the size to really narrow it down, but I know that this category, these linen Tencel blend Tommy Bahama pants, regardless of size, have a pretty good sell-through rate. So I'm just literally quickly scrolling through, and I can see that the men's ones are going to fetch me about $25. I paid $4.99 for them. $25 is like a good market value average. That's what I'm going to list those for, and we move on. Okay. We're going to go with you guys see a category or a theme here, not a category. You guys see a theme here? Difficult comp, easy comp, difficult comp, easy comp. Next up is a more difficult comp. These are wedgie jeans. And I'm going to do the comp for them for you guys, but I'm going to tell you that I picked these up without doing a comp. I think I already know what the comp's going to be, but sometimes I don't check a comp if I have experience within the last like month selling the exact same item and having like years of experience with it. I know that the wedgie jeans from Levi's sell very quickly for me regardless of comps, especially on Poshmark. They are very popular. But for the sake of the video, I'm going to do a comp. I don't think that the sell-through rate is going to be there, but sometimes I pick up stuff just based on experience, and this would be one of those cases. So these are black, they're button fly, Levi's wedgie 27. And let's see if we can get real specific. Levi's wedgie 27, black, button fly. Okay, I'm gonna go to pre-owned. That gives me 39 available pre-owned. When I go to sold, 9 results. Not good, right? But again, sometimes just picking up items because I just have a lot of experience selling it. I don't know if I just price it right or we use the right keywords, but those sell for me every single time. So we pick those up. Even looking at these comps, I always price mine for about $35 to $40. And these ones that people have sold recently, I see some as low as $16. So it just goes to show that sometimes it's not about the comp, it's about experience. Oh, I missed one. We're not going to do that one. I only plan on doing these. I did also get a pair of Lululemon crossover yoga pants. Pretty nice condition. That's a pickup based on experience as well. Wider leg. Here's one that is a lot easier of a comp, and it will be the last one that I do because I feel like we've gone through enough. I'm actually going to comp this one as quickly as I would in the thrift store, but this is a fantastic denim brand to look for if you're at the thrift store. I find that pretty much everything sells. I'm going to do it as quickly as I actually did it in the thrift store. So these are a pair of Goldie jeans. I immediately was like, okay, let me check condition. These feel super crisp. I don't see anything wrong with them. Now I'm looking for the style. The style is in the tag right down here. These are called the Merrell jeans, M-E-R-R-E-L. They are a size 26. So I would literally do a Goldie Merrell 26. This is exactly how I would search it. And I have one search result. It is from another country. They're listed brand new for $157. Now, something, you know what, let me do this real quick. I'm doing it as fast as at the thrift store. So, one result, I'm going to go to solds. 2 results. We did not filter new or pre-owned. I can immediately see that it is a desirable item and that one brand new went for around $75. Another pre-owned went for $46. Here's the thing with comps. So that's as quickly as I would do at the thrift store. That took like 10 seconds. Here's how I would do this at the thrift store, knowing what I know. If I search, I have pre-owned, I searched it, there was only a new tag one. That doesn't mean that there aren't pre-owned ones in the solds, and I think that's where some people stop. If they don't see pre-owned in the search results, then they don't even go to the solds. But sometimes there's results in the solds that you're not going to see in the available, if that makes sense. So you always want to hit sold. Now, the only pair for sale in this exact style and this exact size is in the United Kingdom, so not even like my territory. They are new and they're listed for like around $155. I have pre-owned. I'm going to be the only one selling in the US in that exact style, in that exact size. I know that in the past it's sold for about $50. Because I'm the only one, I feel very confident about getting $50 for them. I'm going to price mine at probably $50 to $60 but I could honestly maybe even price higher than that because I am the only one. And those are the thoughts that go through my head. Really great sell-through rate, really strong brand, apparently really strong style and size. So why not price more? But if I wanted the quickest flip ever, $50, these are definitely going to sell for. And honestly, I probably will just price them at 50 just to get them moving. But yeah, that is how I do my comps. I don't know if that helps you guys. You guys have asked about comping and making price decisions at stores and whether to pick an item up and how to do it quickly. This was probably taking longer than actually took at the thrift store, but hopefully it gives you guys an idea of my thought process, and hopefully you guys enjoyed this little haul today. If you guys aren't already and you would like to be, don't forget to subscribe down below and hit the notification bell. If you do that, you'll be notified every single time that I post videos. But I am out for today. I'm gonna go home and eat some dinner. Bye.